everyone. Welcome back. Amelia has just turned the volume up on an ad on her phone. Thanks for that. What a great start to a review. Anyway, welcome back. We are back. I'm your host as ever, Purple Midnight, joined by Amelia, the Obsidian Nook Pale ASMR. Why don't you say a little hello? Yeah, she's already ruined our recording session, but we are going to roll with it. So we are here. Spooky season is officially over. We are back to doing just any old film now for another year. Even though it probably won't take that long before we start doing horror films again, let's be honest. But we're going to have a little break. We're going to have a little break from doing horror, and we're going to jump back into doing a few sillier films. The usual. No. We made an agreement on what the plan was, so we could return to our regularly scheduled programming. Because obviously there's going to be, well, we won't spoil what's happening, but yes, this is my turn today because we missed doing one at the start of the week, I think. Yeah, we didn't do a Halloween special, so apologies for that. I can't even remember why, but shit just happened and we just didn't get round to it. But we're here. Halloween is over, and today we are looking at Top Secret. Another little spoof. Well, I don't want to say spoof film. It's not like Scary Movie. It's similar. It's the similar vein of wacky comedies. It's not really bad. You enjoyed it. It's like the later Scary Movies in the sense of, like their comedy. Well, I mean, it does make sense because they were also directed by David Zucker, who did this film. So yeah. Anyway, as mentioned, this is directed by David Zucker, his brother Jerry, and Jim Abrahams. David and Jim did the late Scary Movies, which is why they're a bit bad. Let's be real. It's written by them and also a chap named Martin Burke. So we'll get straight into it if you've got nothing else left to say. While you're colouring a butterfly in on your phone, as per usual. No comment. Yeah, sounds about right. Anyway, we'll get in with our discussion. Spoilers ahead. This film is. Give me a second to just do the maths. 39 years old. So watch it. This film came out in 1984, so I don't know how long ago that was. Sorry. So, on board a train, Agent Cedric, played by Omar Sharif, fights German soldiers before jumping off of it. Now, there is a very weird scene where the bridge is tiny. It's like a little model they built for it, and he just smashes straight through it. You were really confused by that.
Yeah, because when you said it was like meant to be terribly bad, like it was meant to look shit, I don't think you meant like that sense of humour.
Yeah, it was one of those films like Naked Guy on an Airplane, because that's also what David Zucker has made in the past. So, at East German High Command, officers receive words of his escape and of an American named Nick Rivers. Over the credits, surfers go skeet shooting in the ocean to a parody of the Beach Boys. That was really fucking bizarre, wasn't it? But yeah, and Grandma running towards the ocean with the others, like because they're all. It's a parody of Surfing USA, where everyone like goes surfing, but instead of going skeet shooting on the ocean. So this song is sung by Nick Rivers, played by Val Kilmer, in his first ever acting role. Say acting role. Stasi has just walked in, by the way. Hello, Stasi. It's his first ever film role, I should say, because I think when I was reading up on it, he started off in like stage productions. Nick paints the passing countryside on the train with his agent Martin, played by Billy J. Mitchell. When they stop at a German station where they are briefly held at gunpoint, by Colonel Horst, played by Warren Clark, before being released. In East Germany, Cedric overhears Nick's welcome before meeting with a contact, played by Ian McNeice, a British comedian, who repeatedly pranks him while giving him intel. The man gives him a ticket to a ballet where he will meet the resistance leader named the Torch. Yeah, he's a blind salesman that sells party tricks.
That was hilarious.
It was very basic jokes because they're trying to have. It's like the I'll play it cool, and then they just randomly he's just randomly pranking him with assorted party tricks. That's not a bad impression, to be honest. He says it really weird. So Cedric is taken to a scrapyard in a taxi, which is swiftly picked up by a crane and dumped in a crusher. It doesn't kill him somehow, as we'll see later on. That night, Nick attends a fancy party as General Strek, played by Jeremy Kemp, and a Russian named Vladimir Bolitnikov, played by Richard Mays, arrive at the hotel. Nick is met at the party by Martin, but Nick sends him to his room due to a sore throat. Cedric's contact meets with a woman, Hillary, played by Lucy Gutteridge, but he is shot suddenly, burning a letter she gave him before dying. Hillary enters the party and is denied entry, but Nick persuades the maitre d' to allow her in. Nick and Hillary dance before taking their seat at the table, where he notices her becoming nervous at the large number of soldiers searching the room. They're having this big... Usually in these scenes, they're having like a slow ballroom, but they're doing these overly complex like dance moves as they're trying to have a serious conversation. Okay. The maitre d' announces the presence of a respected singer, Bolitnikov, but instead Nick gets on stage after misinterpreting what he's saying. He performs a rendition of Tutti Frutti. How did you even get behind there, Stasi? Anyway, sorry. He performs a rendition of Tutti Frutti to the joy of the partygoers. However, Vladimir and Strek leave in frustration. I forgot to mention, but I was pleasantly surprised to find out that Falcon was actually singing the songs in this. Usually they have someone dub over the singing, but no, apparently it is genuinely him doing it.
Oh, wow.
You're saying that like it was not... Like I didn't say that to you while we were watching this. Yes, it was him. Yeah. Amelia has a tendency of not remembering the lyrics correctly. She remembers the tune, and then her brain just goes, we're going to say random words and hope that's correct. So Nick returns to his table to find Hillary missing, having left to meet with Cedric, who has been turned into a cube of metal. After he got dumped in the crusher, of course. Cedric tells her about the torch, and she insists on going alone, taking his ticket to the ballet. Pardon me. Nick goes to the ballet where he sees Hillary meeting with an older man who ends up holding her at gunpoint. Nick, however, rushes in and causes him to throw himself off the balcony. Nick and Hillary escape to the prop room, and Hillary leaves through a fire escape as soldiers break in and capture Nick. In prison, where he's there for 20 minutes, after leaving chalk drawings on the wall, he's visited by Martin, who tells him about Hillary. Excuse me. Who tells him about Hillary after Nick gives him an anal intruder set. Interesting. After Martin leaves, Nick is taken by a priest and some soldiers, where the priest is executed in an electric chair. It's meant to be a big, like, fake out of, oh, they're going to electrocute him to death, but no, of course not. Strek and Horst interrogate Nick about the murder at the ballet. It is a murder because they do say he succumbed to his injuries later on. Before introducing Bruno and Klaus. Bruno is an almost blind, very thin, bald gentleman, and Klaus is a moron that only believes something he sees in a newspaper. Before informing him that Martin accidentally killed himself with the anal intruder kit that Nick gave him. Bruno and Klaus repeatedly beat Nick and also spank him with a whip, but he seems to enjoy that. Before returning him to a cell where he eventually escapes into a lab for a vent. In this lab, he meets Hillary's father, Paul, played by Michael Gough. The two Nick, I should say Val Kilmer and him worked together in Batman Forever. Michael Gough played Alfred in several of those films. So Paul tells him of a weapon he is working on called the Polaris Mine. It's a big magnetic mine that manages to pull a submarine through the prison wall. Strack receives a call saying he needs to allow Nick to perform just as he is called to be executed. Nick's execution is barely stopped by an old lady with a what do you want to call that? Like a Zimmer frame. That's the one. And he is able to perform, but before he can return to prison, Hillary rescues him and they escape on bicycles. Hillary finally explains to him about her motives and that she is searching for her father and works with the Resistance. The two of them head to a bookstore where they speak with the owner, played by a very strange inclusion of Peter Cushing, probably best known for his role in Star Wars, who knows of Paul and offers them to hide in the loft until the Resistance can come. Hillary tells him a story of how she and a man named Nigel were deserted on an island and they fell in love. However, one day he mysteriously vanished months before she was rescued. Nick tells her of how his mother vanished when they went to a department store where he was adopted by the staff and became a musician. Nick sings the store's jingle to her, and the two make love with one another, crushing his guitar. They also roll past two fireplaces in the same room. A farmer takes Nick and Hillary to a farm the next day, a potato farm to be specific, that the bookstore owner told them about the day before. The horse that sings, it's initially shown, well, it's implied to be the guy singing, but it's the horse. And he apologizes because of the horse coughing. And of course, he makes the classic joke of, oh, he's a little horse.
I really like that.
It's very silly. It's accurate of the comedy. So yeah, inside they are met by several armed resistance members, and Nick tells them they are there to see the Torch. The Torch emerges, revealing himself to be Nigel, played by Christopher Villiers, and the two have an emotional reunion to the disgust of Nick. Duquois, a member of the Resistance, played by Harry Ditson, introduces the Resistant members to Nick, among them Deja Vu, played by Jim Carter, and Chocolate Mousse. Wonder why he's called Chocolate Mousse, played by Eddie Tago. Tago, I might have just butchered that, but hey ho. Nigel interrupts Nick and Hillary talking to tell her. Sorry, let me start that again. Nigel interrupts Nick and Hillary talking to tell him. Let's done that again. I'll get there in the end. I wrote this not great. Nigel interrupts Nick and Hillary talking. There we go. To tell him that they have arranged to transport him out of the country. Nigel then tells Hillary in private of his survival and how he was violated, per se, we shall say, by the sailors who rescued him. A wounded Resistance soldier, Latrine, who multiple times will be back in this film, arrives being pursued by several soldiers who fire on the house. The group return fire on them, killing many to varying degrees of success. Deja Vu can't seem to break a window. Like, he literally hits it with a sledgehammer and the hammer breaks. A grenade is thrown in, blowing several Resistance guards up. Well, I say that, they throw the grenade in, it lands, and then there are little explosions under each of their feet. More soldiers burst in and fight them, but Chocolate Mousse guns them down. The named Resistance, basically the ones who survived, go to a cafe to plan on rescuing Paul. Nick initially refuses to return to the prison, but Latrine once again rushes in, telling them of a traitor and the Resistance. Duquois reads out the message on the dead carrier pigeon, causing a visibly nervous Nigel to accuse Nick of being the traitor. Nick proves who he is by saying... Nick proves he is who he says he is by singing along to one of his songs on the jukebox. Very convenient that they happen to have his song on the jukebox. There are a lot of musical numbers in this.
I said
It is a borderline musical film. I won't go as far to say it is a musical, but it's very close to crossing that threshold. So the gang parachute out of a plane, and on the way down, Hillary tells Nick she loves him and not Nigel. Also with a fireplace that's parachuting as well. Outside the prison, the group spot cows outside the fence, and Nigel tells them that he and Duquois will disguise themselves in order to blend in with the herd as the others break in elsewhere. This is probably the most famous scene because when I was trying to get the cast and other little bits of tidbits of information, it was literally like top secret cow scene, and we will we will cover that in a little while. So they successfully infiltrate the herd, making it through the front gate, but a calf disturbs them. Um, I must say, instead of having the two in a cow costume, they just had a cow wear wellies, which made you laugh. So yeah, a calf disturbs them, and in order to Stasi's screaming. A good way of putting it is the calf takes milk from its mother. Oh, Stasi, get off the keyboard. Sorry, baby. So Nigel and Duquois managed to successfully cut the power, allowing Nick, Chocolate Mousse, and Deja Vu inside the perimeter. The three scale the wall, throwing a guard over it, who shatters like he's made of ceramic. Usually it's a mannequin, so that was a pleasant surprise. And beating another in a weird wrestling match. They then disguise themselves and take Nick prisoner, as Nigel, of course, reveals himself to be the traitor. But unfortunately, a bull takes notice of them, and Nigel is once more violated. Nick finds Paul as Nigel returns to Hillary, telling her how he was rescued by Russians that compromised his morals before forcing her into a truck. The alarm is sounded as a wounded Duquois reunites with the others, informing them of Nigel's treachery. Latrine also arrives as well. I know. They are interrupted by Germans who have a very gentle crash. This made me actually choke. It's one where they go very slowly and they go and then explode. Just as Latrine arrives to tell them that Nigel is escaping, Nick leaves alone as the resistance head off in the somehow still intact German Jeep. Nick chases Nigel on a motorcycle, managing to disarm him and pull him out. Off of a bridge and into a river. The two have an underwater bar fight, ending when Nick throws Nigel out a window before leaving. At their escape plane, the resistance manage to persuade Hillary to leave with Nick and go to America with him. Hillary says goodbye to the surviving resistance and the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz, and a plane flies away as the film comes to an end. And there we are. That was our little breakdown of Top Secret. Well, I only gave an approximation. So, do you want to give any little thoughts? Say what you usually say.
I liked it.
You liked it.
I like the cow with
The cat with the lilies is. Mm. Would you say that was your cup of tea? Would you get it on DVD? Do you think?
Watch it on Disney.
Or watch it on Disney? Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention you can watch it on Disney Plus. Is that no? That wasn't why we watched it.
That was.
Was it? I thought no. I had it on. I bought it on the Xbox. Yeah. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I'll show you. Yeah, there is.
Oh, okay.
It might be on Disney. I don't know. I was really confused when he said that. But anyway. I don't know what else to say now. Did you have any other thoughts? Or anything? I don't know. It was silly, it was funny. It's one of them comedy films you can watch over and over again. So yeah, this film is holds a lot of meaning to me. This is one of these silly films that I've seen several times. It's just a very silly, nonsensical film. I'm a big fan of Airplane and Naked Gun and Hot Shots, those sorts of wacky, campy comedy films. We decided best death had to go well, I couldn't decide between two of them. Either had to go to the soldier that absolutely shatters, or the very silly car crash. And the worst death just went to any soldier that was shot because, of course, like it's just shooting. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I always get tired when we record, even though it's 12:30. Um, so yeah, those were our thoughts and our little breakdown on Top Secret. Thank you ever so much for listening. I've been your host, as ever, Papa Midnight, joined by the Obsidian Nook, PLSMR, or just simply Amelia. I forgot to mention, Tiny has been in the room the entire time. She's not even looking at us, but doesn't matter. You can find Amelia's links in the description, in the link tree, alongside all of ours. It will be a special episode next, before Amelia's turn. Well, that's not even in the description. Yeah. Anyway, thank you ever so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.